let's get to the review. So this is a Nokia N8, has a Qualcomm 680 MHz processor with 256 MB of RAM and 1 GB of ROM. Also has a 12 megapixel camera, which Nokia claims has the biggest sensor found in any mobile camera. It can also shoot 720p video and has a 16 GB built-in storage. Of course, at the front you have a 3.5mm NHD AMOLED display. NHD means 640 by 360 pixels. And it's 16:9 ratio, so you won't be able to see any black bars when you're watching videos. Okay, so that's it for the main specs. Now let's check out the exterior of the device. Let me just take off this back cover. So the front is Gorilla Glass, so very much scratch resistant. The back, the side, everything, as you can see that this middle area of the phone is actually unibody. That means this all piece and metal piece that you see around the phone is actually a single piece. It's crafted out of a single piece and it is absolutely rigid. However, the top and the bottom are made out of plastic, so they can get scratched real easily, as you can see right now. And of course you have at the back the camera module with the 1/8 inch sensor. It also has a mechanical shutter that you can see actually moving when you're taking a picture, but more of that in the camera section later. So on the build quality front, excellent, but I don't like the width of the device. It's a bit thicker to my liking, especially when you consider that it doesn't pack any powerful hardware. So in my opinion it's fat, and it also has this module at the end which makes it even fatter. So on the right hand side you have the volume rocker, a slider to lock and unlock the phone, which is quite nice, and you have the quite large camera button. On the left hand side you just have two doors, one to let you insert the SIM and the other for the memory card to expand the onboard 16 GB memory. And getting the SIM inside and out is not an easy task. And of course, saying that, you can't remove the back and you can't get out the battery. So if your Nokia starts to give you any hard time, you have no option. Otherwise, in the other Nokias you can simply take out the battery and move along. Okay, so that's it for the main hardware. Now let's turn on the screen. And screen, as you can see, I have updated it to Symbian Anna, more of that later. The screen is AMOLED, so it has absolutely stunning colors, and especially the blacks. The contrast ratio is close to infinity, so you can't even see the difference between the screen and the black bezel that surround the screen. So very good on the contrast ratio front, but there is one downside to the AMOLED screen. Let me just give you a close-up of that. And that downside is the sharpness. Normally the LCD has 3 subpixels. The AMOLED has just one. Samsung has recently solved the problem with their Super AMOLED Plus screen on the Galaxy S2, but this sadly uses only the AMOLED screen, so you won't be getting that sharpness, and it can be annoying at times, especially the screen is really small and you have very fewer pixels around. But overall, if you ask me, in the sunlight and indoor, this is one of the best screens around in terms of color orientation and sunlight visibility. And of course, as far as the touch system goes, this has the capacitive touch, and it isn't the most sensitive system that I've seen, but it gets the job done. It's nothing, well, quite of a problem. Of course, you have the menu button at the front as well. Before we jump into the software, let's just talk about its main feature, the camera. By the looks of the screen, you can see that there aren't many options available on the camera, especially that isn't even touch focus available, which is becoming quite a standard feature on a lot of smartphones in this price category. And apart from that, of course, it has autofocus, but as you can see, the focusing distance isn't as short as other mobile phones, so you can't really get any macro shots with it, which is a bad thing in my opinion. Now the table is quite far, as you can see it focused right there, but it won't focus here. so not a good thing on that front. And in terms of video making, I think it has one of the best results that you can find, but also you can see that if I move it into the dark, there is quite a lot of noise. So that extra sensor size isn't good when you're putting extra pixels on. Point to be noted, Nokia. So camera, very good still photography and very good video, and that's it. You don't get any macro capability, so it's just a good camera. And of course it also has the xenon flash, which is more than enough to lit up the room in order to take the picture of your subject. But sadly it isn't LED, so you can't use it as your video light. And of course that mechanical shutter that I was talking about, let me just demonstrate it for you. If I close the camera app, it automatically closes, and it reduces the lag time just a little bit compared to the software shutter. So with that out of the way, let's check out the operating system. So I've updated it to the Symbian N8, which promises to have very refined home screen. So let's just check that out. So quite fluent, I might say, compared to the old Symbian 3, which worked actually a second after your finger has moved the screen. But now let's check out the processor power by loading it with all the widgets we can on one screen. So let's just put in BBC News, and then just put in your favorites and something that's quite heavy. Okay, just put top apps there. Done. So this is the cluttered home screen. Now let's just move it. As you can see, the device isn't as responsive as before. Maybe they still need a bit of tweaks. But overall, I think it's far better than the old Symbian 3. Now let's open the menu, and of course you have some redesigned icons, still pale as usual, but at least they're there. And speaking of pale colors, when you jump into the messaging section, you can see that the messaging icons have no color whatsoever. So if you think that those icons are pale, well, you won't get any color at all when you move in front. Of course you can apply different themes and change the colors of those icons, but any color besides the white makes the screen look a bit, I don't know, odd. Now let's move to the second improvement of the Symbian N8, which is the keyboard. Of course you have now the portrait QWERTY keyboard, but in typical Nokia tradition, there has to be something wrong with it. And as you can see, the keyboard is aligned to the left, which is not ergonomic and which isn't natural. And of course the buttons are really small, so it is very easy to misjudge the button and press something else rather than the one you wanted to press. Of course you also have their traditional alphanumeric keyboard, which is smaller than usual. But what else do you get in the Symbian N8? As you can see, I can see the text area and the keyboard at the same time, especially when I am using their conversations. Let me just show you that one. So as you can see right now, I have the text bubble here. Now in the old Symbian 3, when I am typing a new message, all of this would disappear, but not now. So it's quite easy to reply the message that you're reading. So very good on that front. I think it's a good achievement for the Symbian, but the keyboard isn't to my liking. And after that, let's move to the web, because Nokia claims that this is the best web browser Nokia has ever put, and which in my opinion and my use hasn't been good at all. Let's open up a site that everyone else opens. I'm thinking more of GSM Arena, because they don't have a mobile site and we can see the full potential of the device. Also, let's turn on the flash. So it has flash support as well, and let's see how much it goes. So load all content, back, There it is. But in terms of ergonomic point of view, this browser is far better than the old one. You have to go into the menu in order to type another address, and now you just have to tap up there and type your new address. So website loading time isn't fast, and as you can see, it hasn't resized the website also. Now let's check out pinch to zoom. Quite slow and quite inaccurate. So if this is Nokia's best, then I'm afraid Nokia isn't moving in the right direction. So not a good browser at all, in my opinion. As far as the audio quality in terms of phone making goes, it's typical Nokia, absolutely splendid. But there is something wrong with the reception. It doesn't seem to get quite the signal that I was expecting from Nokia. And a friend of mine told me that this does suffer from a bit of signal loss compared to other Nokia phones, especially the C7, which has excellent reception. So on that front, not good Nokia, because that's the only thing that we were expecting it to do really well. But I didn't experience any dropped calls, so I can't really call it bad. So call quality front, very good. And in terms of video playing capability, this does have the DivX X-Vid support, so it can play pretty much any format that you can throw at it. But due to the smaller processor, you can't expect anything big to happen. But I have tried playing the 720p videos from the YouTube on it, and it played them flawlessly. And in terms of music quality, it's typical Nokia. It uses the same hardware as their all Express Music series, which is absolutely up to the point. So nothing wrong in terms of the music player. And of course you can unlock it using two methods, either by pressing this and pressing that, or by simply sliding the switch on the side. Okay, so what's my conclusion about this phone? Well, it's nowhere near to the Android or the iOS brothers, and I don't like the price of the device. It's too expensive, and you can get a lot better phones for less than price of this, even the second-hand one. But you can get HTC Mozart, that's 4000 cheap, has a 1 GHz processor, has far more refined operating system, Windows Phone, and with the Mango update, that Windows Phone will look absolutely superb. That phone has a build quality even better than this, and everything works so much better on that. Yet that new one costs less than this, which is the old one. And if you want to buy a new one, it's hugely expensive, and you can get even a Galaxy SL or i9003 in that price, which are far more capable devices than this. And this doesn't have the shape or the build quality to match that. So only the Nokia fans are gonna buy it, and I'm disappointed with Nokia that they've called this the competition for all the gigahertz phone out there. It's nothing even compared to the Samsung's own beta operating system. That beta operating system started just a year ago, and it has more usable apps than this one. This has very few apps in the OV store. In fact, the apps are even worse than the old Symbian 60 series version 4. I mean, I owned the old Nokia 5800 for about a year. I liked that phone that much. And why I liked it? Because it gave me considerably usable hardware in a very cheap price. This, however, has the considerable hardware, but it's not cheap. So in my opinion, this shouldn't work. And I think it hasn't also. But there are a lot of Nokia fans who think that there is nothing that can beat Nokia, and for them this review is not. This review is for the people who have open minds and simply deciding between different devices. So do I recommend this phone? Absolutely not. Not even at the camera front. You can get better camera in the Samsung Wave or in the Samsung Galaxy S. The quality is quite same, only the megapixel count is different. So that's it for the review of my Nokia N8, and I'm so frustrated with it that I have reset this phone, so I'm gonna sell it. So I'm gonna sell it soon, and this is the last review, hopefully the last day under my use. Thank you so much for watching.